sick and tired of me posting UFC videos on the site. I've been pretty much every one that they released I dropped on there just because I'm a big fan of the sport. I always have been since the 90s. This isn't a bandwagon thing here, you know. So anytime someone puts out a mixed martial arts title, I definitely gotta try it out. And there's not a good track record on these games, but you know, the more recent ones that put out from THQ, RIP, they started to bring it home with this MMA type experience. You know, EA tried MMA also. It was a kind of received well by some people, but others not as much. So, you know, for this company to make a UFC game, you know, people are obviously going to be super critical. You can't completely judge the game on this demo, but I think for the most part, this is a title that I still will pick up. There's a couple of issues I have that I would like to see fixed. I do not like that at the beginning of a fight, I can't just touch gloves with somebody. I know that's something real subtle, but that's also something that happens in 90% of the MMA fights in real life. If you touch gloves with your competitor, it's a show of respect. That's not in here. I don't understand why. Another thing I didn't like is when you have somebody on the ground and you KO that person and you keep hitting them, in the other games you're allowed a lot longer of a window to get more licks in. You know, obviously sometimes the ref is kind of further away and he can't get to you close enough to pull you off. So I wanted that extra little late hit, but they don't have that. Immediately goes to a cutscene. I feel like I'm kind of cheated a little bit. Can't use the cage to help my fighter get up. I don't know, maybe EA deliberately took that out of the title, thinking people would spam that or something. But it's also something that goes on in real life. And they clearly, with this Ignite engine, were trying to go for the utmost realism. So when you take little subtle things like that out of the game, that's going to downgrade this simulation, so to speak. I enjoy the hand-to-hand combat. The movements are smooth on that. Transitioning on the floor, the ground game, transitions, movements are very similar to past titles. The submission is what I do think this game has the advantage over. Other games, you know, just push the buttons as fast as you can. That's stupid. But in this, it's more of a game of skill. You have to find a sweet spot that the opponent isn't using. Hold in the left stick or hold in the right stick and use the left stick to apply pressure. If you're on the defensive side of things, you got to move the stick where your opponent doesn't have theirs. So it's really cool. It's kind of, I know it's a little tough to explain over this thing, but when you play it yourself, I think you'll appreciate it a little bit more than just I have faster thumbs. You know, because cats can be using turbo controllers. There's no real way to prove who's holding it down and who isn't in that aspect. But this is more of a game of strategy and skill, which is, in reality, that's what submissions are. Strategizing and using your skill.